Hello and welcome to mentalmma.com. My name is James McNeil. I'll be your host for this video entitled WTF. And of course, we all know what that stands for. What the Fedor? And the question is, of course, what's going on with Fedor Emelianenko? I mean, we're talking about the last emperor, the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, the greatest heavyweight of all time. That's been what we've all believed and thought for some time now. And I just wanted to talk about what might be going on. Of course, none of us are the actual holder of all knowledge, but I want to help as much as I can to take a glimpse as to what's going on with Fedor Emelianenko, and he might be done. He might actually have retired. So I just want to talk about that from our perspective here at Mental MMA, where our emphasis, our focus is to be the information source for the mental game of mixed martial arts. And I think that's really what we have to talk about if we're talking about Fedor Emelianenko. We need to talk about the mental game. On this note, I might as well talk about Andrei Arlovsky, another one of my all-time favorites. I love this guy, and I wish he was doing great. So I just want to remind you of some of the key points. You may have seen this in one of the other videos, but it's worthy of repeat right now. There's three basic distinctions within mixed martial arts as to where the game is played, where the skills, where the knowledge, what makes a great person great. So I just wanted to remind you of the three. If you looked at Budo, or martial arts in its original form, it is the unifying of mind, body, and spirit. So let's take a look. Mind, that would be the skills and the knowledge. I think we all know Andrei Arlovsky has the skills, has the knowledge. Fedor Emelianenko has the skills, has the knowledge. Next, body, strength and conditioning. I don't think there's a real problem. Some people would say, well, he didn't look in great shape. He's never looked in great shape. Fedor Emelianenko has always had this physique, so far as I know. So I think he was in just as good a physical shape, or almost, as good as ever. He's only 34, I think it is, which means his speed shouldn't have slowed down. Definitely, he knows how to be conditioned. He's a disciplined man. So I suspect in these two categories, Fedor was almost 100%, as always. Skills, knowledge, strength, conditioning. Again, maybe a little bit of strength and conditioning shift, but I doubt that there is much change. Where the change has taken place, in my opinion, is the level of consciousness or his mental acuity inside the cage. Is he in the zone? Is he as sharp as he can be? And this is, again, for me, what just reminds us what an unbelievable sport mixed martial arts is. In mixed martial arts, a competitor at the highest level must be just super conscious, super aware, as well as super fit and super skilled. It takes so much that it's a razor's edge. And if any fighter moves just slightly off, if they're not in a good mood, if they're not in a good space, if they're distracted in any way, if they have too much fear, or too much anger, anything can take them off that spot, that absolute square spot where they want to be at their level of consciousness, or what we would call being in the zone. What has happened to Fedor Emelianenko? I personally believe you might as well watch one of the Rocky movies and talk about the Eye of the Tiger. I think what happened is he's been the champ, he's been the top, he's been the unquestioned king of mixed martial arts for so long that I think he's lost his edge. That's my opinion. When he talks before and after, he talks about God's will. Now, if you want to talk about God's will with me, you've got someone who's interested in the conversation. I believe highly in my faith journey, and I believe it's right to ask these questions about what is God's will of the universe. I'm not against that. A lot of people would. I'm guessing most of the fans are wondering why he would bring that up. I'm totally comfortable with it. But it seems different than where it may have come from before. Fedor has always had a very stoic, very calm, presence. We all know that. But there's a difference between, so far as I know, God has put me in here to win, and therefore I'm doing everything I can, and we'll see, right? This kind of, maybe God wants me to win, maybe he wants me to retire, maybe I should be a farmer, I don't know. And it's that ambiguity, it's that little bit of space, and I'm exaggerating, of course, I mean no disrespect, but there's a little bit of a gap between I'm on a mission, right? I'm on a mission from God, or I believe I'm in my right place, my right livelihood, doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm not so sure, maybe I should retire. And in that gap, I believe that's all it takes to take his sharpness off and move his level of conscious into more of a normal person level of consciousness, rather than super, super sharp. Also, if you want to talk about actual skills and conditioning and strength and training, it also appeared that he's become somewhat predictable. He was headhunting. It looked like he was headhunting. It wasn't a unique game plan designed for the uniqueness of Antonio Silva, but rather it's Fedor being Fedor, but now becoming more of a headhunter. So it's unfortunate in my eyes. I believe he absolutely could be back on top. I don't know if he ever will. I just don't know that the hunger is there. Andrei Arlovsky, it seems to me that it's been a mental game issue since day one. When he's on, he is unbelievable. You watched him do a great job against Fedor. It looked like he was going to beat Fedor for a little bit there. He was doing an amazing job a number of fights ago. And, of course, we saw him against Tim Sylvia and so on. Andrei Arlovsky has been an amazing fighter. But 4 knockouts in a row. Fedor's lost twice in a row. The mental game, in my opinion, is why those two fighters have been on a losing streak, and it may be the end of both of their mixed martial arts career, at least at the top, by their own choice. But I believe they could be, because I don't think there's any real issue on these other fronts. Again, this has been Mental MMA pointing out the reality that the mental game is the distinction within the world of mixed martial arts today. The other things have kind of become a bar that's been set, and everyone has to be there with skills and knowledge, strength, and conditioning. The secret to being the greats in mixed martial arts today, and people like Georges St-Pierre are showing us, it's the level of consciousness. Can you get yourself into that space to perform at that peak level? Because anything short of that means you're going to go down. So thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully this has been helpful and insightful, and hopefully I've been respectful, and hopefully we'll talk very, very soon. Please do comment, share these videos, and let me know what you think, what you want to hear about, what you want to talk about, any questions you have. It's my honor to serve. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll talk real soon.